Hey everyone. For our session 4 LED 518 assignment as a reflection again this week, it is about, we were asked to identify a follower, connection, friend, or subscriber that either makes inauthentic contributions or uses an anonymous identity to contribute damaging, unhelpful material. Our professor, Don Martin, mentioned that we can refer to a connection who made an authentic contribution instead of an inauthentic contribution. I chose to take more of a positive approach because, these days we've seemed to more focus on the negative, and even though our assignment this week was authenticity and integrity, I chose to take that positive approach. And one of our TED videos this week was with Brené Brown, and it was the power of vulnerability, and she said that when we are asked about our connections, we discuss our disconnections. About belonging, we discuss not belonging. Regarding our loves, we discuss our heartbreaks. So we tend to take that negative approach and pessimistic approach instead of the positive approach as human beings because of our vulnerability. So my positive connection was when I was stationed in United States Air Forces in Europe. I was assigned there from 2009 to 2012, and during that time, the USAFE commander was General Mark Welsh. I heard of him. I've never worked with him up until that time, but I knew he was a very powerful man listening to some of his speeches. So when we went to his commander's call, I tried to keep him open mind because a lot of commander's calls are about the same thing. Well, right away you could tell that he was very authentic. He meant what he preached. He was down to earth. So he could talk to the lowest, youngest airman to the highest CEO, even the President of the United States. And you can see that right away. I mean, he made jokes. He was very authentic, but he was down to earth and very practical, and it made sense a lot. One of the things that he said that really struck a chord with me was about the airmen being the mission, and that's what I live for. The mission is always going to be there, and the mission is going to get done, but it's how you treat your people and their morale and their adaptability and their training. And if they're not happy or satisfied, then the mission is going to fail. So happy people equals happy mission, and he preached that, and I really appreciated that. In 2012, it was time for the Air Force to select a new chief of staff. And General Welsh's name rose to the top. So we all knew what we had at USAFE, and honestly, I felt like he was going to be a shoo-in. We all thought that he would get the job. The selection was tough as usual. We had some great names like General Shelton, also who I worked with before, but General Welsh was selected, and for 4 years he served as honorably as the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. And in my humble opinion, I can honestly say he was the best Chief of Staff that I had in 20 years of my military service. His leadership was about accomplishing the mission, and you cannot accomplish the mission without the people, as I stated previously. Philippians 2:3 says, "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves." I believe this is how good leaders lead and how General Welsh leaded. Please, if you have time, take the time and just YouTube or Google General Welsh's videos. He has one that he spoke to the Air Force cadets. He has the one that inspired me in USAFE. Really inspirational. He's talked to NATO and United Nations and JFCC, Joint Commands, and he's just a really impressive guy. So if you have time, please do that. And he is one of my inspirations. And I hope you have a blessed day. And that's the end of my assignment. Thank you.